The Debtor's Tale. 1. To memory is tied an ambition, a claim, that of being faithful to the past. Paul Ricoeur, Memory, History, Forgetting, page 493. The Life Cycle of a Blog. 2 September 2016, 8:44 a.m. 42 degrees, 26 minutes, 41.6 seconds north, 87 degrees, 49 minutes, 32.5 seconds west. I just came back from a quick trip. This is the kind of coffee shop where you don't have to worry about leaving your laptop on a table for a moment. And before I left, I clicked save on this post, even though I had only written the title, and upon my return I discovered that the blogging tool had filled in the geotag and the timestamp, as if to mock me. As if here and now were the topics under discussion, as if I were still on the vacation of a lifetime, and it still mattered to me to establish with precision the time and place of every word, the where and the when of every thought. So I decided I needed to turn off the geotagging and the timestamping, and I started to look through the settings page, grumbling to myself about how stupid I had been to turn on those features back in 2009. Turn the damn things off, I thought, because the story I'm going to be telling today, well, it sure isn't set here. No way does it happen now. Well, I couldn't find the settings, and I was getting kind of steamed. I was ready to open a really angry support ticket. What's wrong with those people, I thought. Why'd they have to go and change their user interface? So what if it's a free product? Come on, they've got to provide support for their legacy features. But then I caught myself. One thing I've gotten very good at over the last 7 years of, shall we say, financial insecurity, is catching myself when I start to engage in avoidance behavior. You loser, I said, in the affectionate way I speak to myself when I'm about to fuck something up. You're just wasting time. You're trying to find a way to get out of this. I took a sip of coffee and looked around this coffee shop, the morning light coming through the trees on the patio. It's a nice place. I should come here more often. And I took a couple of deep breaths, and I listened as the roar of traffic on Sheridan died down for a moment. The traffic lights, the ones I can't see from here, they must have all turned red at once. And I asked myself, as I usually do when I'm on the cusp of avoiding something, to consider the consequences of doing and not doing. And after a moment I realized that, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to finish the story. Then I took another sip of coffee and I looked at the geotag and the timestamp and I thought, okay, maybe this is the destination. Maybe here and now is where my story is going. You know, who I am now, where I am now. Maybe the present is the point. Yeah, right, I replied. Every story is about its own telling, and the present is always the destination of the past. Give me a break. That's true, trivially true, about every story in the world. I sat here for a long time before I responded to my cynical self, and when I finally did, it wasn't a direct response. It was an act. I started to write. So here I am, on North Sheridan Road in Zion, Illinois, and now is September 2016, the Friday before Labor Day. Yes, I am now living in the future. A future in which the population of northern Illinois has largely been replaced by absentee humans, translucent creatures who have surrendered their souls to their smartphones. Well, maybe not translucent, not yet anyway, but it is amazing how much things have changed in 7 years. Back in 2009, I was among the connected vanguard, and now I'm old school. Look at me. I'm typing on a laptop, sometimes incomplete sentences. Anyway, I've taken an extra day off, so for me, today is the beginning of a long weekend, the first I've had in a long time. That is, the first since then, when my time is really my own, and my goal, as I think I've already mentioned, is to tell the rest of the story. The story of my journey from Spire to Canossa in April and May of 2009. My Ganganak Canossa. My walk to Canossa. My umiliazione di Canossa. Why I need to tell this story, I'm not sure. Maybe I want to put that trip behind me. Maybe I want to set myself free, emotionally and imaginatively, now that I've almost set myself free financially. Maybe it's just that I finally have some time. Why am I in this coffee shop when I have an apartment not far from here with a much faster internet connection and a desk with a more comfortable chair? The fact is, I can't do this in my home office because that's where I work. That's where I write code and watch progress bars obsessively during server updates. That's where I'm the most anal retentive, no you can't do that, freelance database administrator in Lake County. I'm not bragging. I just am. So I walked over here. Nobody walks in Zion, but this morning I did, and I set up my ergonomically suboptimal workstation at this table near the window, and I started off by reading my old blog, which is this blog, the blog I'm writing in now, the blog I abandoned 7 years, 4 months, and 5 days ago. The blog that contains 28 published posts and 3 unfinished drafts written over the course of 2.5 days. That's a pretty typical life cycle, I suppose, for new blogs created in 2009. A burst of energy, then silence. And for a long time, that's what I thought had happened. Just a generic abandonment. For the past few years, when I thought about the blog, and recently I've been thinking about it more and more, without actually looking at it, I always assumed that I had stopped posting out of laziness. Probably a time management issue. In the middle of a hectic journey, a failure to prioritize had led to a failure to follow through. I figured that I was just a quitter, a blogger who had let his readers down.